Yeah.
Hi guys, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Stella. I would like to specially thank everyone that's already a member of this family. And if you're just seeing my video for the first time, kindly subscribe to my channel and turn on your notification bell because I post sewing tutorials on this channel and they are super detailed. Alright, so in today's video, we're going to be drafting, cutting and sewing a puff sleeve. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. And the first thing you need is your basic sleeve pattern. All right, so I've gone ahead to draft my basic sleeve pattern, and the length of the sleeve is 12 inches and I added 1.5 inches hemming allowance to it. All right, so I just proceed to measure it. Now in total I have 13.5 inches here, and to get your cap height, I simply divided her bust round by 12 and I added 1. Now this is a standard formula that applies to everyone. So I drafted the sleeve on fold this way, all right, and afterwards I just extended the cap line, the cap height line. All right, now we will go ahead and mark the midpoint of the sleeve. So that is the very first thing you're doing. After you extend your cap height line, you will go ahead and mark the center of your sleeve pattern. And here we have it. Moving on, we're going to come down from the cap width line by 0.75. So I'll go ahead and mark 0.75 on each of the sides and we will go ahead and connect it. So I'll come in with my ruler and we're going to be connecting this using a slight curve. Now pay attention to the placement of the curve because whatever you do on each of the side is what you're going to repeat on the other side. All right, so I'll go ahead and connect. So we're placing my curve on the 0.75 line that we just marked below the cap width line and touching the center of the basic sleeve. Okay, so just watch the placement of my curve and I'll proceed to connect it. So we're going to repeat this same curve on the other side, and like I said, the two curves needs to be the same. All right, so I'll go ahead and connect the second side as well.
Yeah.
And here we have it. Now we'll go ahead to slash on this line. So we're going to cut, but we're not cutting through. All right, so there's a difference between cutting through and not. And like I always say, to cut through simply means that you're going to be separating your pattern paper, all right, but we're not cutting through. So I'm just leaving a tiny little bit at the side just to hold the pattern in place. So I'll go ahead and cut the other side as well, and here we have it. Now I'll come in with another pattern paper so that we can spread this pattern, and here we have it. So I simply went ahead to tape down our original pattern on the new pattern paper. Now the first thing we're doing is to extend our center line. All right, so you extend it outward this way and we'll proceed to spread. So I want to spread my sleeve with 2 inches on each side. Now note that the more you spread, the more puffiness you're going to have on your sleeve. Okay, but I want mine to be just a little bit minimal. So I'll go ahead and mark 2 inches on each of the sides, and we're going to come in with our slashed paper. So I'm going to place it on the 2 inches mark that I just made and I'll pin it down. Now I'll repeat the same thing on the other side as well. So I'm simply placing the tip on the 2 inches mark there, and here we have it. Okay, so you need to pin down your pattern paper in place. Now we will need to connect the top part of the sleeve or the sleeve head. So I'll come in with my curve ruler and we're just going to use a curve line there just to connect the top. Okay, and here we have it. Now we will go ahead and blend the sides. So to do this, you just need to connect it using a straight line. And this is it. Now it's time for us to cut out our sleeve pattern. Here we have it. Our pattern is set. Now we will need to notch our spread mark. Okay, you remember we went ahead to spread with 2 inches, so we will need to notch that 2 inches mark there. All right, because that's exactly the place that we're going to be gathering or pleating. So I'll go ahead and transfer the pattern to the fabric, and I'll also add my sewing allowance. Okay, remember I already added 1.5 inches as my hemming allowance. And here we have it. I have transferred the pattern to my fashion fabric and my lining, and I added ½ inch on the sleeve head and 1 inch as my side seam allowance. All right, and I also went ahead to iron down my interfacing on both the fashion fabric and the lining. Now let's look at the joining process. So you remember that I added 1.5 inches as my hemming allowance, and I have a standard method of hemming. And the method is you go ahead and multiply your hemming allowance by 2 and you subtract 1. So I added 1.5 inches as my hemming allowance. Now 1.5 inches multiplied by 2 will give you 3 inches, and 3 inches minus 1 will give you 2 inches. So from the hem of the lining, I'll go ahead and mark 2 inches there. All right, and I will connect it. So the method is simple. Multiply your hemming allowance by 2 and you subtract 1. Then you go ahead and mark it on your lining, and I will be cutting this off. Yeah. So this is it. I'll go ahead and cut off this 2 inches mark that I just made, and I'll go ahead and also repeat this on the other piece of lining. All right. Now I'll place the fashion fabric on the lining, and I'm going to go ahead and sew it using ½ inch. And here we have it. I have joined it. Now you also need to press this flat. So let's move over to the joining process proper. Now I'll go ahead and fold it into 2 this way, and I'll proceed to do my shaping. So the round sleeve I'm working with is 6.5 inches, and I'll make a mark there. And I added 1 inch as my side seam allowance. So I'll come in with my French curve, and I'm going to connect it. So the same thing you do on your fashion fabric is the same thing that you're going to repeat on your lining. Okay, now if the person you're making this outfit for is a slim person, or if the person does not have a very big arm, then you can go ahead and use your French curve and connect your shaping lines this way. But if the person's arm is a bit on the big side, then go ahead and connect it straight. Okay, so I'll repeat the same thing on the lining part as well, and we'll move over to the sewing process. And here we have it. I'm done with the shaping. Now I'll go ahead and sew along this marked line, and this is it. So I have joined it. I also pressed it open. Now if you pay attention, you will see the area that I ironed in a triangular form. Now the moment you do this, it's going to ease off the underarm of your sleeve. This way you can raise your arm comfortably. So I'll proceed to turn this. All right, so I'll go ahead and just pull the lining inwards, and this is it. Yeah. Moving on, you will need to align your joining line on the lining and the fashion fabric. So you need to ensure that the 2 joining lines are meeting at the same spot, and I'll proceed to pin it down. And we'll also align the notches on the center of the sleeve. So I'll also pin that down. The moment you pin these 2 points down, you just find out that the sleeve will align and arrange itself. Okay, now I'll take this to my pressing table, and I will press this flat. I'll press it properly, and we'll go ahead and attach to the blouse. But before we do that, so here is our sleeve pattern. You remember that we went ahead to spread using 2 inches on each of the sides. Now I'll come in with my scissors and my tape, and I'll go ahead and measure that 2 inches again, and I will give it a notch. So I'll simply measure my 2 inches, and I'm going to notch both the fashion fabric and the lining. So I'll notch the 2 of them together. Okay, now this is the area that I will be pleating. You can also gather it if you want. So I'll go ahead and pleat this area first before I attach my sleeve to the armhole of the blouse. Now here's the blouse that I have completed. Okay, so I have gone ahead to fix one of the sleeves so you can see what it looks like. All right, now you can also see the effect of the 1 inch hemming allowance that we did. All right, so I'll go ahead and fix this sleeve, and here we have it. I'm done with the blouse. I love the effect of this puff sleeve. It's not too extra, it's just on the minimal side, and it's exactly the way I want it. Now I also have a detailed video on how to draft, cut and sew this blouse, and it will be up on the channel very soon. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you so much. Kindly subscribe to the channel if you have not, and turn on your notification bell because I post sewing tutorials on this channel and they are super detailed and easy to follow. Okay, thank you, and that will be it. Bye.